Well, it looks like we are ready to go into this game. It's loading up right now. You guys excited? You having fun? And we're going to go ahead and throw the in-game screen up for you guys in a second here. There we go. So we got our Zerg player wishing his opponent good luck, have fun, and GG. Give it up for VortiX. In the bottom right, his opponent, one of the first players to finally put an end to the streak of VortiX, and I think probably playing better than everybody else here at the tournament so far. Give it up for SuperNova.
Well, you know what? If SuperNova keeps going mech, this is Ohana. This is a great map for that. It's much thinner, easier to cut in half, easier on non-mobile units. VortiX, on the other hand, it's going to be scary, man. If he tries to go Muta again, that's going to be hard. If he opens with just 2 queens, I think we might see him lose his 3rd hatchery once again. I wouldn't mind seeing him just doing like a blind counter here, going like 6 queen into Roach.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Because that would completely blind counter
it would,
what this guy's doing and
like,
whatever he's trying to do to him.
So it really would. It would be the sickest blind counter that you ever saw, man. If SuperNova continues, which, from the looks of it, there's no reason for him not to.
Well, we'll see how flexible VortiX is. He's definitely stuck with this build. He's definitely recovered what he's been damaged hard with this build too, so we'll have to see.
Well, the drone scout once again, as well as Overlord scout on the side, really well done. He's going to find command center first. Smart build here by SuperNova, but I'm sure that drone will be able to harass a little bit.
All right, so the other SCV coming down here to cover for this one. And the drone is going to have to pull out here. Cannot take that much more damage.
Yeah, very solid micro there by the drone.
Now we have the hatchery on the way. Spawning pool started shortly afterwards. This Overlord is going to come over here. As you can see, he can check the gases. He'll probably park right around in this region. He can go into the main, or if he wants to go check the gases from there, he could do just that.
Yeah. Well, 1 gas on the way for SuperNova right now, as well as 1 Rax. So this leads me to believe that he's going to go mech again. Normally you go straight into 2 barracks after this, but he's spending those extra minerals to get a little bit earlier gas. So, yeah, that's what it's looking like.
What are your thoughts in general on mech versus Zerg?
It can be very good, but of course, when I mean, you're lacking a little bit of mobility. You have to get way more done with Blue Flame Hellions. It takes a lot longer game, so you're going to get to the late game where Zerg likes it a lot. And that Broodlord Corruptor Infestor army is pretty hard to deal with, but really isn't it, no matter what units you have?
That is true. It's a pretty overwhelming, slow-moving ball of death that you have to kind of engage in a very specific way, and if you don't, you're going to lose too many units.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one thing about when you have somebody going Broodlords against you is oftentimes you can just avoid the Broodlords and attack the main.
Yeah.
For instance, there's a lot of tricks like that. I mean, especially in PvZ, we've seen people like Hero just go around the Broodlords and blink it to the main and start killing everything.
But with mech, it's going to be a lot harder to do that because your units are just kind of slow. Your siege tanks are not very fast, and your Thors, as we saw last game, can be caught by Broodlords occasionally.
Yeah, that is actually a very good point, Artosis. We have the Marines coming down here now and moving towards this expansion. Nice wall in denying him any entry over here. And he did see the 3rd command center, so those Zerglings did not die in vain. They definitely got a lot of good intel.
Mm-hmm. Well, nothing really out of the ordinary for these guys right now. Sink of gas is going up for VortiX, getting that speed as well. He has stopped at 3 queens. He has stopped at 3 queens, and he's making 8 lings. Okay.
What's the plan?
It seems to me that, yeah, something is going on here. Something is afoot, Tasteless.
Do you think we're going to see a Baneling's Nest?
It looks like actually he's going to take his 3rd, but the 3 queen thing is really, really confusing me.
Yeah, this is really out there.
We said, he needs more queens, not less. Having 2 queens on the map is not enough to stop this hatchery from being harassed very efficiently. This might... what is this exactly? It's kind of interesting that he's changing his build in this way, it might have to do just with the fact that it's a command center first instead of, you know, Barracks command center with the slightly quicker helmets.
Do you feel like it was worth it to get the Ling speed?
Yeah, I think you need to get Ling speed no matter what. That's just, Lings are so bad otherwise. And then, I mean, I guess you could go Roach, but you're going to want some Lings out there no matter what.
Well, the hatchery is more than halfway done. We will see if he actually decides to leave his base and attack. The Overlord is going to see everything, so no element of surprise here.
No cloak, though. He sees nothing making in that reactor, or that tech lab. So, and as soon as it died, actually, he started cloak. Ooh, that's interesting.
Oh, wow. We don't see that very often, actually.
If I'm VortiX, I don't think that cloak is coming at all. You try to get cloak right away so that you actually have it immediately with your
But do you feel like that really gives him much of an edge, considering how fast Overseers make?
You know, even if it gives him just a slight, small edge, an extra 4 drones or so is pretty worthwhile.
All right, the Hellions are continuing to move around. 6 of them now. And they're going to come in here towards this expansion. They can go behind the minerals to get extra cover from the melee attacking Zerglings.
Oh, that's a lot of Zerglings, but he is using the terrain very, very well. Wants to hurt those queens so his Banshee can actually do some damage.
Oh, my God, full-on surround. Whoa, total victory here for VortiX.
That is for sure.
Man.
Now we do have the Banshee going into the natural right now. The Spire is about halfway done. You should be able to see the Spire if you micros this downwards just slightly. And Cloak not quite done, but he does see that Spire, and he's already killed 4 drones with it. Pretty good.
All right, so, you know, honestly, overall, SuperNova's attack, pretty ineffective.
Yeah.
In fact, basically losing money here. Now, here comes the Cloak, though. Here's a moment where he could catch up. Let's see how many kills he actually manages to get.
Yeah, VortiX not even making an Overseer yet. He needs to do so, though, immediately. And he does start one up, but this Banshee getting so many kills. In fact, going after a Queen.
Yeah, I wonder if that was a mistake, actually. Okay, transfusion there. Probably a sloppy move there by SuperNova. Could have gotten a few more drone kills.
Yeah, he could have gotten a lot more drone kills, in fact. I'm kind of surprised he chose to go after that Queen. When there's 3 of them there, you're always going to have some transfuses sitting around.
Meanwhile, the Hellions came up here. And the Banshee's up here as well. Caught the start of this one. Let's see, Artos, what are the kills here?
So far, he's killed 11. 11 drones have gone down, and that number is continuing to rise. Well, we do have SuperNova going mech right now. He's getting his engineering bay for the mutas. Make a few missile turrets here and there to stop that harassment. But we don't have any Thors yet, so he's going to be a little bit immobile for a bit.
All right, as you can see here, he is powering pretty hard. So once again, SuperNova looking great. He's getting the Thors. This looks like a build that was engineered specifically to take on somebody like VortiX.
Well, it's doing a good job so far, Tasis. He's just kind of tearing them apart. Look at this.
What is the workers killed now?
The workers killed is now up to 16.
Damn.
And look at the supply, man. 100 to 115. SuperNova in the lead there.
Yeah. SuperNova, yeah, again, ahead in supply. This is huge.
Ahead in supply as a mech in the early game against Zerg.
Right. That's not how it's ever supposed to look. So, VortiX crippled here. Can he recover? He's done it before against other players, but the question is, can he do it now? Can he do it against SuperNova?
Well, his mutos are coming down. Let's see what he can get done. There's already missile turrets all over the place.
And you know what? SuperNova is completely airtight right now. The mutas have done basically no damage, and with the Thors out now, you almost have to ask if that was even the right unit to start to go for.
Yeah, and against mech, well, I like switches in and out of mutas, but really, roaches are going to give you a little bit more staying power and the possibility for things like drops, catching units off guard. Whereas the mutas, you make one little mistake, they get an extra Thor volley in there while they're clumped up, and they are all going to evaporate.
All right, he's got the 3rd base. That's going to trigger VortiX to go ahead and take the 4th. Now, if you're Terran right now, if you're SuperNova, do you push at like 170 supply? Do you like wait for siege mode, for instance, to finish up here, which is on the way, and then just go out and try to attack and smash that?
You know, it's hard to say. I think he wants to hit a timing right before Greater Spire, and so just basically whatever supplies at that point, which I think he shouldn't move out until at least 180.
You know what? I think you're dead on. I think it's going to be, he's going to scan here, and the moment he sees this finished,
Yeah.
Because that means the Spire's going to start morphing. Actually, probably even if he sees this making, he'll push. Because then, you know, VortiX has to do one of two things. He has to stop saving up and start making attack units to try to hold this off, or he's going to have to give up this base, in which case it's going to get, you know, he's going to run over, he's going to be on 3 base versus 3 base and probably barely hold off the push.
Well, more command centers on the way for SuperNova right now. As he's just working on his economy, working on his army, getting all his great upgrades. But we do finally have some Roaches being made here by VortiX. He's actually going Hive, Zergling upgrades, Roach upgrades, Baneling upgrades. He's kind of doing everything at once, and that's definitely something you can do against Mech because it does take them a while to actually push out.
Creep is pushing out pretty heavily over here in the bottom right. The Muni's coming back here, denying the Hellions any presence on the map. Do we have a Spire, Artosis, or I mean a Greater Spire on the way yet?
No,
not just yet. So he's scanning there to take a look at that.
And just seeing that there is no Greater Spire, it would be great if he morphed it the second that scan wore out. Because then you're really not expecting when it's done. And that's what he just did. Really well done by VortiX.
SuperNova coming up here. He wants to get some drones. There are not really any drones here. He does get some Zergling kills, but overall that was a waste. And by the way, VortiX now maxed out. He actually caught up and beat SuperNova in that race.
Yes, and he certainly did. It's a lot of it's Roaches, though, so he's got to be careful about that. You know, he's going to have, it looks like, 29 Roaches or so. Of course, they are good and helpful against Mech, but
the number of Thors here is 8. So, of course, Thor's very good against Roaches.
Yeah.
Baneling's not very good against Thors.
Yeah, they really have to be clumped up for those Banelings to do what you want them to do.
Occasionally, you see people throw down auto turrets as they see Banelings coming in, hoping the Banelings are actually going to connect with that.
Yeah, that's great when that happens.
And here we go.
Yeah, indeed. But he might actually have enough here. Look at these Mutas flying in. The Banelings, a lot of them actually trapped right now, but the Roaches targeting down these Thors. There's no siege tanks to be seen, and VortiX actually killing off all of these Thors right now.
Unbelievable, man. Yeah, the Thors did not target down the Mutas. If they had all just right-clicked on the Mutas once, they could have taken them out, and then we could have gone from somewhere else. Meanwhile, inside the main, we have a big Hellion drop over here, taking out a lot of drones. Really nice job there by SuperNova. But again, it might not be enough. SuperNova suddenly behind here as VortiX just has the right unit combination for whatever SuperNova has to offer. And part of me has to ask myself, are we going to see SuperNova do this build again? It seems like VortiX is already adjusted.
It does seem like that, man. You know, we never really saw the Banshee Hellion harassment do anything because of that Ling surround. And, you know, I guess that's what really turned this game into something that VortiX could end up winning. And now here he is with a lot of Lings and a lot of Roaches, pretty good upgrades overall. And SuperNova is going to take a long time to push out. He's only got 109 supply. And again, with Mech, you really don't want to move until about 180.
All right, he's closing in over here. He's going to have to lip this off. The Mutas can take care of this command center, though, so he's going to have to back up again. Well, what the hell does SuperNova do now, Artosis? I really feel like, frankly, it's going to be very tough. Well, before you answer, let me give you what I think he's supposed to do. I think he's going to have to just turtle this out and burn out this Zerg-Econ. What do you think?
Completely agree. He's got to get Vikings out. He should know that Broods are on the way, which they absolutely are, and just try to turtle it out. If he can kill off the Broods, stay alive, get back up to a max army with a good enough Viking count to actually battle Broodlords, then, all right, he'll be good to go.
All right, so as you can see, he's making a defensive perimeter around his base, these turrets. Not going to take any flack from Mutalisks. And, yeah, I think he's going to do exactly what we said. He's just going to try to hold off whatever VortiX has to throw at him. But this is going to be the first wave. The question now is, can he survive this? He's getting a lot of turrets. Not a ton of Corruptors here, so he might be able to take this on with Vikings.
Well, we'll see what he can get done. The Banshees flying out as if they matter here. Not really, just killing Broodlings off. The Vikings doing a pretty decent job so far.
All right, and one Broodlord goes down. We're now down to 5. There's another one on the way. He needs more Corruptors, though. A nice transfusion there. And the point defense drone making the Queens utterly useless. Continuing to hit that Broodlord. Oh, but another transfusion. Beautiful.
And VortiX is pushing down just so strongly. Mostly siege tanks back here. Not really all that helpful. VortiX is going to back up.
The transfusion is so strong here for the Broodlords as he just continues to push and push and push. back it up once again. He's starting to breach the defenses here of SuperNova. VortiX is closing in. The siege tanks, well, they may need to unsiege here.
Yeah,
but then if they do unsiege, the Zerglings are going to spill in like immediately.
Yeah, they absolutely are. It's going to be like a waterfall of Zerg units coming for him. But as is, his siege tanks are just all dying. SuperNova, I think, right now is just coming to terms with the fact that he has, in fact, lost this game. This does not look winnable at all.
I think this is actually over. VortiX with the best Broodlord pushes I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah,
completely serious, guys. I have never seen Broodlord pushes this good, beating people that are Codex quality, top 8 Codex quality. This guy kicks ass.
Yeah, VortiX is killing it, man. Did a great job that time. Didn't do exactly what he did the time before. But, you know, really catching those Hellions and just minimizing the damage that opening that had kept on slapping him around all day has done. That I feel like that was one of the big keys to this game.
Wow. You can see SuperNova realizes he's going to have to use some other kind of build. VortiX is just as adaptable as SuperNova is. SuperNova comes in here with a specific build engineered to beat the opener that VortiX was using. It works. Game 2, VortiX turns it around and turns it upside down and just denies.
Yeah.
Sick.
I'm really impressed by these two. I want to see what they actually do for the next game. Like, will VortiX get a bunch of Zerglings to try to stop that harassment again at his third? Will he try more Queens? Will SuperNova actually switch something up to combat that? Or will we see something completely new out of either of these guys?
I have no idea. I think SuperNova will probably do something new. I don't know if VortiX is going to do it. You know, it's a best of 5, so they only have so many opportunities to try to mix it up. You know, it's funny, though. I've not seen SuperNova, generally speaking, play this well.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm talking about SuperNova, who's one of the best Terrans in the whole freaking world. Very aggressive, a solid Code-S class guy in the GSL. He's playing very well at this tournament. Even in that game that he just lost, still so well.
Yeah. You know, just a few mistakes can really stack up, that's for sure. The next map will be Cloud Kingdom. This is going to be an interesting one. You know, it's got a lot of hills, so Mech will be very strong on top of those. How will VortiX actually handle that? You know, that third base still way out there and easy to harass.
Well, before we go on about that map, let's take a little bit of more in-depth analysis with Caleris and Day 9.
Thank you very much, guys. And, yeah, welcome to the Analyst Desk once again. And, you know, I mean, going into this second game, it seemed, whilst we were saying that SuperNova had figured out the style of VortiX, VortiX then comes back in game number 2 on a map that, in my opinion, isn't too well suited for mech for SuperNova here, as he does end up committing to that. And again, on a map where high mobility is key. And VortiX still continues to actually like produce those Mutalisks once again here to be able to really start exploiting those angles of SuperNova, and just fantastic adaptation.
Yeah, if we step in and actually take a look into the game, what's weird to me is that just looking at the supply counts, things technically should be bad news for VortiX. Just skipping ahead to the 14-minute mark, things still look like they're even worse news. SuperNova is getting farther and farther ahead, but in a sense what what VortiX is doing is he's saying, okay, well, if you're going Banshee, Hellion, Mech, these units, the Hellions and Banshees, are the only things that can really hurt me for a long time. So what do we see VortiX do? He gets every upgrade in the freaking universe. He gets absolutely everything. Hive, Pathogen Glands. Oh, how many moves did he have? Well, I guess maybe 20 or so, but again, it's all you really need to defend against these fast units. So then suddenly, out of the blue, he maxes out very rapidly and is able to strike SuperNova at a key timing right before 2-2 is done and right before tank production is really kicked in. As a meching player, you almost have to build mostly Thors right at the start, because what other option do you have? So it was really brilliant. Only Mutalisks, and then all the rest of the upgrades that he could get. And then as a result, he knew he'd be up against a Thor-heavy force when he made this push. And look at that. It's happening right before Broodlords. That was the really pretty part. Sure, this might break in and do some good damage. Well, actually, it will break in and do some good damage, almost guaranteed. It's the fact that the Broodlords were able to pop out right on the heel, and VortiX set himself up pretty cleanly.
Yeah, and just with that swell of 100 Zerglings at the end there as well, it also has a bit of connotations with, you know, once once Mech's kind of been stumped in its tracks a little bit there, there's not a whole lot to be able to clean that kind of transition up when that Brood Lord comes along to reinforce, so, oh well.
So the next map being Cloud Kingdom. We'll throw it back to Tastosis and see if we're going to have Mech anymore in this series.